Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. Please listen to this presentation as you would a radio broadcast. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the issue of activists, foreign students coming to the West, and they're activists. They seem to have endless amounts of time for activism and organising and arranging activism, and almost no time for studies. Why would you want to come to another country, stump up some pretty serious money, by the way, for doing the course, and then do nothing but run around agitating and doing everything you can to stir up all sorts of trouble? That just seems odd to me. If I put that amount of money on the table, I'd be busting my ass, hitting the books and doing the studies. But these people it doesn't seem to work that way. Now, under what circumstances should deportation be considered? Well, you could start off with the simple end. You've asked for a student visa because you want to go and study, and you're not studying, you're doing something else. And so anyone would have, it should be a reasonable question. What are you doing here? Pretending to you say you want a student visa, we give you one, and all you do is run around agitating and posting all sorts of inflammatory shit online. You need to reapply for a visa on the basis that I'm an activist and I hate the West and I hate the United States. I hate white supremacists. And will you give me a visa? Well, on that basis, no. So the visa, the student visa, is it coming into the West under false pretenses? I would argue yes, if that's the scenario. Now, there's a few things that I've noticed is a lot of the agitator people that are either have been subject to or are being, on some sort of a watch list. They're not uni students, as in someone who finishes high school and they want to do a degree in such and such or so and so. These are sort of professional long-term students. They're in their mid-30s. This might be their fifth or sixth degree that they've done, or they've already got 3 degrees and a master's. Now they're doing a PhD and so on. So somebody's paying the bills for that. These are people who've never had a job, and yet they've all gone to Western universities and they've shelled out several $100,000 for their education so far. So they must come from quite a wealthy family, or someone who's paying for this. Who's paying for this? Similarly, there have been professional agitators who do nothing but organise agitate. Now, some of this takes quite a lot of time and work. They're out on the bullhorns all the time, and they're out stirring up this, and they're doing mass emails to the, and they've got a coterie of students, that the coven of students that they organise and run with, and printing pamphlets and goodness knows what. They're really active in this student agitation activism stuff. I mean, it's a full-time job. So how are they managing to pass? How are they managing to do their work? I mean, they haven't got any time left for study. And if you delve in a little deeper, you'll find that they're doing some sort of bullshit sociology course, or whatever they're doing. It doesn't really matter. It could even be something a little bit more exacting than that, but they're being given free passes for their activism. Some of this is quite blatant. So, the lecturer says, okay, well, look, I've got a paper coming up on, you've got to do an essay on, ABC. But if you go and attend that climate protest downtown tomorrow, and you wave placards, and I want to see some photographs of you there, and you wave some placards and scream out some obscenity on a bullhorn, I'll give you a AAA grade pass on your the essay that you don't even bother handing in. Hand in with a bit of paper, hand in a bit of blank paper with your name on. I will give you a AAA pass because you did that activist stuff. And this is increasingly becoming a way for the universities to reward activists with prestigious degrees that they haven't earned, not even slightly earned, by saying, if you're a rabid street activist, placard waving, bullhorn activist, we'll give you your degree. We will gift it to you as a payment for and a reward for your your strident activism. And so that relationship with the universities and the colleges, that needs to be understood, because it's a massive corruption of purpose of the universities to be gifting degrees, gifting degrees to people who've done no work to earn them, and then giving them positions on the student council and so on, when really they're just part of an international NGO student activist network. So people at the age of 35 or 40 are running around as rabid activists, pretending to be students, which they're not. Getting their third alleged PhD, which they haven't earned. It's been gifted to them again as payments and reward for their activism. Now, I don't know how vast the network, the international student activist, agitator network is, but it's substantial. We can safely say there are, across the Western world, there are well over 100,000 people that are in effect employed by the NGO globalists to go in as agitators on whether it be the Palestinian issues or anything else. Rape has never been worse on campus, and look at this group of activist women there bringing attention to this thing that 1,000 women are raped every nanosecond in every dormitory of every university, this sort of thing. So now it's all bullshit, and it's all propaganda, and it's all going along, the hustling. It's the race, gender, hustling, grifting stuff, and the oppression of brown people, all this sort of thing, and it's just endless. And it's well funded, it's well organised, and these agitators are moved around to wherever they're needed most. Okay, we want to expand the race grifting over in the northeast United States or in here or there. Okay, let's get a bunch of them to go over there, student activists, and they can be the nucleus of the setting up the agitator movement. It's well funded and so on. So that's what's going on now. So I was surprised by, there was just recently in the United States, there was a woman. To what extent she was an agitator, it's hard to say, but she's certainly been active, posting stuff online and participating in demonstrations or protests, whatever they want to call them. She seemed, but I'm doing good things. I'm protected. I'm part of the international NGO stirrer agitator network. I'm allowed to call everybody Hitler and Nazi, but you can't do anything to me. And so she screams out. The idea of being accountable for her action is something that she cannot comprehend. But I'm the good person. It's everyone else that's Hitler. And so that sort of she doesn't know what to do and screams like a small child who's never been held accountable. Whereas, she's please don't hurt me, but she's happy to call everyone else Hitler and Nazi and fascist and be a big, tough, stunning and brave woman. But when she's accountable, suddenly she's a little child. Oh, please don't hurt me. Now, I don't know how big this international network is, but again, it's substantial. But my problem is that to pick and choose which agitators you deport or hold accountable and which you don't. For example, there are many agitator networks that support mass migration or support illegal migration or oppose deportation or these sort of things at college level. They should be, in my view, they should be just as aggressively pursued and deported as the folks that were going on about the Palestinian stuff or were coming out with anti-Zionist and anti-Semitic type statements and making public utterances to that effect. Should they be, hey, you're a student, do you mind just studying? But again, let's recognise the professional agitators, and there is an international NGO network of professional student agitators. Whether the student's 40 doing their third PhD, it doesn't matter. Follow the money there. Who is paying for this person to be a professional full-time uni student, 15 years? Who are the lecturers and the professors that are giving them their degrees that they clearly haven't earned? That needs to be investigated as well. But if it turns out that a radical activist Jewish group is opposed to mass deportation and they're activists, they too should be deported. So it can't just be this group, but not, in my view. So I think that any student agitator who is a visiting foreign student and who is probably on the payroll of some NGO, and their job is actually to be an activist, they all, I believe, need to be deported. Or they're advised, listen, you're a student, just do that and you'll be fine. The second you engage in activism, we've got a problem here. And to make that clear, and to any student visa application to come to the West, I think should have that proviso put in. Any sort of activism and you're out. That, you know, and that make it abundantly clear, and make it therefore much harder for the NGOs to be inserting rabid, professional, paid, organised and trained activists all over our university system in the West. You've been with Tassos today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.